difference between, cash flow and net worth. Net worth is the number people always focus on, for Forbes, like Elon Musk being worth $200 billion. While cash flow is how much monthly liquid cash you can pull in every month. Elon Musk may be worth $200 billion, but he doesn't have $200 billion in the bank. Because that $200 billion net worth means his stocks, his ownership in the company, is collectively worth $200 billion across SpaceX, Tesla, SolarCity, all of his different businesses he's created. So when he needs cash, what he does is he goes to the bank and says, hey bank, look, I have all of these stocks in these companies, they're worth this much. Then the bank says, okay, great, we'll use that as collateral and we'll give you a loan against that. So let's say he gets a $100 million loan. Then he can then use that loan for his daily living expenses, and then he can pay that loan off through the increase of his stock. So literally that's how, very wealthy people avoid paying taxes, because the only money they're using is from good debt. The debt of taking out a loan against their stocks. Well, let's talk about Grant Cardone now. So Grant Cardone, I think the most recent one is he controls over $4 billion in real estate. So he has control over $4 billion in real estate. He himself is not worth $4 billion because the people who invest in the real estate with him are co-owners in that, and they don't fully outright. They don't fully outright own the real estate. They probably are in it for 20 to 30% and paying it off over a long period of time through the tenants, And so that's what cash flow is versus net worth. The only pro of not having tons of liquid cash flow is taxes. But the beauty about real estate is you can generate cash flow with low to no taxes legally. So for instance, let's say you have $20,000. If you go buy a $100,000 property, you put $20,000 in. Now you have control over $100,000 rather than 20. And let's say instead of your primary residence, you put a tenant in there. So your tenant is now paying your mortgage, which is a loan to the bank with interest. Remember like that first example with Elon Musk? You're doing a very similar thing, just like divide it by 100. So you can scale up that way. And then any extra cash flow you generate, let's say the mortgage is $1,000 a month and your tenant pays $1,100 a month. So that means you're positively net cash flowing $100 a month. And then you can use that money to keep the cycle going, buy another property. And before you know it, you have so many properties generating you so much net cash flow that it covers all your bills. This is what the FIRE movement often like to do, which is financial independence, retire early. They're trying to, either through cash flowing real estate or dividend paying stocks, have their minimum monthly expenses covered by their investments. So once you do that, then often what they do is they retire or go live in Thailand or Mexico or something like that, because you can get a lot more for your money in cheaper areas. So for instance, you might spend $2,000 a month to live in a really nice place in middle America. For that amount, you can get a very big mansion in rural Mexico. So that's the reason why you would do it. And like the cost of labor is much lower. I think like the average wage in Mexico is $400 a month, and in America it's $4,000 a month. So like every expense you have divided by 3 to 5, and that's how much you'd spend in Mexico in an Americanized area, like places like Cancun. And if you're in more rural Mexico, you could divide your number by 10. So the only benefit of doing that is, if you're planning on just retiring early, or you don't have a lot for retirement, that's why people do there. And they have decent health care in Mexico or Thailand because it's starting to become more westernized. But the problem with that strategy is, you'll often find this is a month or 2 months into retirement, you'll see these people get really bored. Yeah, they leisured around by the beach, they traveled around the world, but if you don't have a purpose, a defining job that keeps you motivated to get up every day, what you'll find is, your life becomes meaningless. So what you'll often find is these people who do figure out how to retire early, they end up going back to work, just doing something they really love. So my logic is, if that's the end goal, where you're going to end up doing the work you love, why don't you just make that from the get-go of, hey, I'm going to work as long as I want, doing something I actually care about, right? Hello. So that's kind of the methodology for creating this channel, right? I thought, what would be the most fun thing to do that would also be benefit to humanity? So I came to the conclusion, electric propulsion, revolutionizing civilian space travel. And then I thought, how do I fund this endeavor? Well, I see a lot of people become very successful with social media. So why don't we film and document the process to come up from negative to trillionaire? So I thought that would just be interesting, and that's what we're doing now. We're figuring out the right strategy to do it. Obviously, we learn from our mistakes. We keep growing and growing. Just trial and error. You know, it's not like school. If you fail at one thing, you just pick yourself up and go again. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, you should actually take pride in failure. Take pride in rejection, because I forgot who said this. Maybe it was Jim Rohn or something. But he's like, you're 24 no's away from becoming a millionaire. So you should take pride in every no you get, because that will lead you towards your yes. That will change everything. Yeah. If you're failing, that means you're succeeding because you're taking action. And if you fail enough and learn from your failures, don't keep making the same mistakes. Learn from them, keep growing, and stay focused on a single vision. You know, whatever your single vision is, stay focused on that and take daily consistent action. Like for Elon Musk, his single vision is, I want to have a human civilization on Mars. So whenever he makes any business decision, he asks in his mind, does this get me closer to Mars or further away? And that kind of pretty much guides every action he does in business. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Whatever let's say your 5-year plan, for us, that's, you know, revolutionize civilian space travel. Does this get us closer to our goal or further away? So right now we need access to funds to fuel this engineering project. We need to hire engineers, pay them salaries so they'll stick around. We have to cover all of our filament equipment, 3D printers, and electric kilns. You know, we need to generate probably 10 grand a month just for that to get the ball rolling. And then obviously we'll scale up as we go. So our logic is, okay, how do we do this the best way that also will give us enough cash flow in case we need to generate more income? So that's why we chose social media, creating this channel. It's a long-tiered strategy, but it can pay dividends 6-7 figures a month if we scale it, right? You can also do that by linking it with brand deals, sponsorships, e-commerce, affiliate marketing. All these things roll around social media, which is why it's so great. And we can also teach other people how to do social media through the social media marketing company we've been doing. And one step past that is, of course, real estate. When in doubt, go to real estate, because 90% of self-made millionaires did it through real estate. It's because all of our laws, all of our codes, all of our taxes are built around real estate. So it's incentivized to create, you know, properties that can have tenants in them. So just, you know, always think about that. Greg Cardone says it best. He says, rent where you live and own what you rent. And what he means is own cash flowing properties and rent where you live, because if you're spending money on your big house but you're not making a profit from it, what's the point? Why not just live in a comfortable rental and then have that be paid for by all the cash flowing properties you own, right? So it makes a lot of sense. So our next big project is trying to master big multifamily deals, right? Figuring out 100 unit plus deals we can do, because each one we close on, we could probably make a couple $1 million in profit. And then that would give us a lot of runway for the engineering project. Obviously, we can just straight up raise funds for the engineering project too, find an angel investor or a venture capitalist. And we're still working on that too. But the more avenues we have pushing us in that one direction, the faster we'll get there. As long as we have the singular focus, like what's our ultimate goal? We want to revolutionize civilian space travel. How do we do this? We get access to a lot of cash flowing assets. Simple as that. So whether it's social media, real estate, or basically those two, because everything wrapped around social media and real estate. So whatever project you're trying to do, let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious what you're working on. And let us know if you have any ideas or any tips of the trade. We'd love to hear it. We'll respond to everybody as we can. And let's just take it day by day and have fun. Remember, it's a beautiful day. Look at this blue sky. It's gorgeous. Nothing has to be taken too seriously. Just have fun, enjoy yourself. Life is a game. It's like a virtual reality simulation, so just enjoy it. Nothing needs to be stressful unless you make it stressful. So have fun, enjoy yourself, and happy dreaming, everyone.